Thank you for watching and following TVS London. This is an online channel where we talk about sports and technology. We wanted to bring inspirational personals from this industry, from sports and technology, to talk about their inspirational journey so that their journey and their stories can give some inspiration to the young people. Spirit of cricket is one of the key themes in our cricket segment. We wanted to make sure the young generation, the young people, learn about the spirit of cricket and what does it mean, and then they play with the game with the true spirit. We wanted to bring technology forefront of our discussions, and we will bring some key leaders from the industry, from technology, from sports, to talk about the challenge and opportunities ahead and how we can adapt the new normal. This industry, from sports and technology, to talk about their inspirational journey so that their journey and their stories can give some inspiration to the young people. Spirit of cricket is one of the key themes in our cricket segment. We wanted to make sure the young generation, the young people, learn about the spirit of cricket and what does it mean, and then they play with the game with the true spirit. So we wanted to discuss all of them. Please follow us. Please contact us if you wanted to tell your inspirational stories, and we will bring you in our discussions, in our program. And from you, there will be a lot of people will be learning. Hello and welcome to Spirit of Cricket with Ratan. And we'll be talking about cricket journey for some people. And today, it's a fantastic day today because after a long time, the cricket is back. West Indies is playing against England. And today, the first day, it is typical English cricket weather. During the cricket season, it has to be rain, and it was no difference today. It was raining. The toss was held only at 2 o'clock, 1:30 and 2 o'clock. The game started. England at the moment, one wicket down, probably about 35. So it's a very good news for everybody, cricket lovers across the world. And I think there will be other countries will be following the way the England Cricket Board is set it up. This bio environment we are talking about, that closed door cricket, etc. Today, another significant announcement is coming up from ECB that recreational cricket is coming back. From next Saturday, there will be recreational cricket coming up. So grassroots cricket will be flourishing, and the grassroots cricket is the key of one of the things that everybody need to look after. And today we'll be talking a lot about grassroots cricket and how everybody can help. So without further ado, I got some very, very special guests today to talk about. My first guest, I'm just trying to introduce Lord Kamlesh Patel, Professor Lord Kamlesh. Lord Patel, Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
I'm really well, considering the weather.
Yeah, thank you for your time today, and we will be talking a lot about cricket. I'm just going to introduce my second guest, another very, very special person. He's a tech guru, we can say, in cricket sector. He brought some very, very sophisticated technology, which is helping really grassroots cricket. So it is my pleasure to introduce Atul Srivastava. Atul bhai, Assalamu alaikum. Atul bhai, how are you?
Walaikum Ratan bhai. Thank you so much for calling me to the show. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you very much. And Atul bhai, will be talking a lot about technology and some of your innovation and your thoughts. And we got another very special person today, and he's a brain of technology, I should say. He has got a lot of things to talk about, the future, the creativity, the other things come with the technology and sports. I'm pleased to introduce Kalyan Kumar. Kalyan, welcome to the show. Kalyan is CTO of one of the giant tech company, HCL, which is $10 billion company, and he's the CTO, global CTO. Welcome to the show, Kalyan.
Hey, Thanks, Ratanda, and it's a pleasure being here.
So I am just bringing Lord Patel today. Lord Patel, just talk through today. It is very significant today that cricket is back and England is playing West Indies. Your reflection on that?
Well, it's absolutely fantastic news. And it's really the credit goes to all the staff at the ECB and working with West Indies Cricket as well to create a biosecure environment to actually allow this to happen, given the current circumstances with coronavirus. So it's amazing. It's great to have it back. It's great, even more, that we're going to hopefully have recreational cricket next week, because summers are not long here, and we have to make the most of playing cricket and get some enjoyment out of it. And it's so important that young children and people are out. So it's a very special day.
I'll ask Atul Srivastava. Atul, you are in this cricket industry for a long time, and you come up with some innovation. Again, you are now joining us from Bangalore. There is no cricket there, and we started cricket. So what's the news in India in terms of starting the domestic cricket?
See, in India, as of now, we look far away because the key cities, suddenly there is a lot of spurt in number of corona cases. So therefore, because of that, cricket has taken a backseat. But having said that, the indoor facilities and especially the players who've been trying to practice, because now lockdowns have opened up, so people within the constraints of social distancing, all the professional players have actually gone to the ground and the indoor facilities and started to really ball or bat. So that's the good news. And so till now they were all confined to their homes and their own homemade gyms and homemade facilities. Now at least they are on the ground and practicing. So whenever we get an opportunity, I don't see that happening very soon. But if we get an opportunity, I think the players will be far more ready than they were about a month back.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kalyan, you are a tech guru. You are a cricket fan. Your son is playing cricket, and what's going on through the children and your industry? That how your industry is responding to the sports in the lockdown.
So let me give a perspective to start with. Actually, if you really see starting January, and I'll give you a very interesting. So I was in Davos, and I was listening to Yuval Noah Harari on the last week of Jan, and he mentioned that pandemic is going to be a big problem in the 21st century. And lo and behold, end of Feb, the whole world pretty much came to a standstill. So effectively, we start to see, Ratan, the way I look at this is there is a domino effect. So what's happening is the entire industry. So there is a big fundamental shift happening because you really pretty much put brakes on the economy, supply chain, core economic activity. There is no cash rotating in the market for 3 months. And suddenly what's happened is many industries or many businesses, you're starting to see a domino effect. There are some industries which are relatively less impacted. There are some industries which have been extremely impacted, but that's the big shift happening from a industry standpoint. So if you really see, we were in the pre-COVID world to the COVID world. Slowly companies at different parts of the world, economy, society is trying to evolve and come out. We are still in the cusp, and looks like in many parts the wave 2 has started, correct? Lockdown and unlockdown, and then we're seeing partial lockdowns or controlled lockdowns. This is going to really cause a domino effect. If you really see, there are 3 big touch points, correct? There is an impact to business, there's an impact to society in a large, and there is impact, and there is technology which is creating a lot of positive impact around this whole thing. But there is a consistent impact on both of this. From a children's standpoint, I've got a 10-year-old boy. He plays in a bunch of county pathways, and for him, it's a big challenge. Correct? It's getting them. They've got extremely, I would say, complete different experience because their school has gone online. It's very hard to engage with children in an online mode, because it's a completely different experience. It's look at I really admire the teachers, correct? Their ability to just grab their attention and keep them inside a Zoom call or a Google Meet. It's not easy, correct? And then getting them to do that, and then obviously the restricted way to play, but they are extremely excited because they started playing in one-to-ones and in a group of 5 now training. So there's always positive hope on the other side.
Yeah. If I may ask Lord Patel, how the governing bodies are responding to this sort of lockdown and the social distancing, and we know that this social distancing will be staying with us for some times, and it is impacting training, it is impacting the games, coaching, the broadcast, the big games, and the people not coming to the ground. How the governing bodies are responding on that?
2 or 3 points. I'll just go backwards one step, because look, HCL are one of the biggest technology giants in the world, and I'm familiar with the work, and I think they do amazing work around digital technology and using it well. Atul has come up with an amazing piece of technology that inspires people and will improve performance. My world of technology doesn't come from cricket. It comes from mainly the NHS. And just going back to what Kalyan said, if you look at, 6 months ago, we were talking about technology in the National Health Service and how we should use it. We didn't use it well, but in the space of 6 months, we've done more work than we would have done in 10 years. So I think we've seen that technology can help in a whole variety of ways, particularly in health, particularly in social care, particularly in the economy, how we live our lives. The same applies for sport. And I think, governing bodies recognise that, yes, it's great to get children out there, physical activity, health and well-being, and physically well. But the use of technology within that is growing every day. Kalyan will know better than anybody. A 10-year-old will look at this more than he'll look at his father every day. And if we want to get young people and the future generations involved in technology, in sports and cricket and other sports, then technology is going to play a huge part. So I think the governing body has been looking, during this very difficult time, at innovative and creative ways of keeping engaged with people, keeping engaged with young people, and technology, WhatsApp, TikTok, Facebook, all this is really important, because, even video coaching has been an opportunity. It's never going to replace going out there playing and, getting involved and the excitement, but it plays a significant role. And these two guys know more about that than anybody.
And this is exactly, it's nicely come to the Atul Bhai, and you come up with some innovation from your own experience and come up with the bad sense. And of course, you spent a lot of time now. Since December, January, February, there are a lot of things has changed. So talk through about what bad sense and what is the other things that you're developing will offer and can offer.
So just picking up from where Lord Patel actually left, see, technology is going to is capable of actually filling up that gap which is coming, because physically you're not able to actually interact and actually play the game the way you want to play. So things have to change. Now, having said that, this phenomena is not a permanent phenomena. Therefore, whatever time it takes, we have to ensure that the interest of the entire ecosystem of cricket has to be maintained. And why I say technology is very important is because there are alternate ways of doing the same things. So what we have created, like for example, a small puck like this, which goes on top of the bat, it actually removes the reason why a coach should stand next to you and do your coaching. You can actually play in your garden or backyard, and somebody can coach you from wherever he is, not even in UK, but in any other country also. So it all seamlessly connects to the cloud, and you can actually play your shots. Even when, if you remember earlier, we used to be told that you should hang a ball on a socks and you should keep doing practice. When we used to do that, after the practice session, if somebody would have asked us, what did we do? We would have said, our hands are paining. That's the maximum effect we can think of that drill. But now, when you do the same thing, even if you don't hang the ball, you can imagine, you can play imaginary shots, you can do your square cuts, your pulls, your all your shots, and you can actually keep analyzing. The most important thing in cricket is muscle memory. Your muscle memory has to be on top of, it is extremely critical. You can keep developing your muscle memory, you can keep doing what you're supposed to do continuously with this device on. So there are a lot of things, not only in on the bat, but we are also developing with the helmet, with the shoe. uh, and I should actually tell you that after meeting KK and after meeting Lord Patel, I think about a year back during the World Cup, there are a lot of things which we have changed, taking their inputs of how we have to adapt technology to cricket, and especially with Lord Patel, how the the associations or bodies or governing bodies are looking at technology and what is required to take the game forward and to make the game more and more interesting for small kids.
Yeah, we will be talking, and you see that the device you saw, that bat sense. I'm just going to share, because I am being a cricket coach. I'm also uh, very much interested in technology. And when I didn't know about the bat sensor, I'm just sharing one footage of mine. This was in, I think, 2017. I was coaching somebody, probably you will know. This is Mohammad Ashraful, and you can see there is a gun in my hand, and it's a speed gun. And what, you don't know what I was doing? I was measuring it
You're doing the
with
bat
bat
speed.
speed.
Mm.
All right. So this if I knew that, that bat sense exists, then, and probably I would have used that, because this bat sense is, the bat speed is so important nowadays for any level, of course. And this gives so much of other details. I'll come back to Atul Bhai. I'll go to KK now. KK, of course you have seen the bat sense, all right, that there are, Atul Bhai was talking about various other helmet sensor, shoe sensors, everything. What are the other things in this industry, from your view, that for cricket, specific cricket, and let's see other sports? Now football, they are playing, no crowd. Cricket, they are playing, there is no crowd. How can as a supporters, I am from home, I can have some sort of experience?
No, I think so. The way you really look at the whole ecosystem, and especially from a technology standpoint, and from our point, from an HCL standpoint, and both personally, I've been involved both in the sports tech in multiple fashions. For example, we did the entire fan experience for Man United, correct? Pretty much the entire global platform, or what we're doing work for Cricket Australia now, correct? And some of the sheer experience, or we're doing some work with NBA and NFL. So when you start to look at tech in sports, there is on-field tech and there is off-field tech, and then there is this life cycle of the whole technology. So if you really start to look at in cricket, see, cricket is a very unique game, and I think if you go to the favorite book Shilberry mentioned about, correct, it's a game of life, correct. It's a very different perspective. This is a game which incorporates a lot of, if you're a tech scientific person, this is a game about physics, tons of mathematics, correct? The entire thing is about angles, correct? If we start to really look at. So what, when you really start to double click into this game, as Atul talked about muscle memory, it's all about repetitive behavior pattern. But finally, this is a game of data. Cricket is the oldest statistically recorded game. This is a game which has more statisticians, as much as players, which means you can apply data science into the game, right? So this game has stats. Every aspect is a statistic. Everything which you do, it's cricket. People love stats, correct? Avid cricket lovers, follow the stats. What happened in this? What happened when the scenario happens to this? So effectively what Atul's really talking about is, I see the puck, the sensor, but I really see data, correct? And in this current economy, when they say raw material power, I think data becomes a very fundamental asset for most of the business. This is a data industry, correct? And the amount of data which we are collecting, you can start to use that on field, off field. You can take the data and apply it into the game. You can take the data outside the game. You can start to create simulation, virtual experiences. You can feed this data back into actually game consoles, correct? And then you think of what you can do with member experience and fan experience. You can completely transform. See, in my view, and we were doing a pilot with one of our partners in cricket, actually, where we are trying to create a stadium VR, which means you get an augmented reality. I can sell you a seat J7 on the East Stand on an Oculus VR, and you can technically now watch West Indies, England on a VR experience, correct? So you could take data, you could take streaming, you could, and that's where sports bodies, all of them have to come in, because it comes to broadcast rights, it comes to who owns the content. So, and you're seeing that pretty interestingly, some bodies like have now own YouTube video highlights is not sold, correct? They keep control of that. So things like that, I think there's a lot of evolution which we can do. And I think I was talking to someone a few months back, they said COVID-19 is the biggest digital transformation engine in the industry, correct? And Lord Patel put that in, correct? NHS never was dabbling with tech, and now in 5 months, you see most of the GPs now are on Zoom, correct? None of them are meeting. So I think an impending event, and as I always say, correct, if you take this equivalent in a current world, you have a silver lining on every aspect which you do. And I think you have to see post the current scenario and see how we can use data analytics and start to apply insights from there and keep it more engaged.
I come to Lord Patel. Lord Patel, you wanted to say something. Add on.
If Kalyan had said this 6-7 months ago, they'll have said, what's he talking about, right? But suddenly, everybody understands. So this is real. So, I should be able to go to Lord's, come out of the tube, and this phone should say to me, welcome back, Lord Patel. Your seat number is ready. This is where you go. Would you like to order a drink? Would you like to order some food? And then I should be able to sit there. I should be able to point this to some of the players, and they should give me all the stats, how far he's run that day, what his history is. Everything should be on there. And, if I can't go to the ground, I should be able to put my VR on and watch the game. That's the future, because with governing bodies, 90% of our revenue, maybe more, comes from broadcast. In the future, that's not going to happen, because the world is changing. So we're going to have to think of new ways. It's digital rights, the clips. What do young people want to watch? The world's moving fast. So I think it's changed everything. And it's awful to say, but COVID has accelerated that thinking. So I think from the fan experience, from the audience experience, from business sense, the data is absolutely crucial. What Atul has done is improve the performance of the player, with all the senses. We can use these sensors for old people in home. So if you're an old person, the sensor will tell me, did you get up this morning? Did they put the kettle on? Did they open the fridge? Did they take the medicine? These are the sensors we can use on a cricket pitch. How fast is he running? He's putting too much pressure on the knee. Is he playing it right? Is the heart beating too quickly? Not quick enough. So I think there's a combination of business, fundamental changes in life and audiences, and actually the performance of the individual players. And these two guys coming together is the perfect scenario.
I think Atul Bhai has a lot to say on this about that from Lord Patel, because my understanding is there are lots of plans in place to do the broadcasting and fans experience. So we'll come back to that. I just play a short video before we come back to Atul Bhai.
fearless, never hold back, accept challenges, make mistakes, venture far beyond your comfort zone. Ask questions others don't, solve the problems that others won't, and believe that you can make the impossible possible. And provoke, yeah, always provoke. Be the catalyst to others follow, the one that challenges the status quo. Never be afraid to claim your place in this world.
That basically picks up various things on the bat. So for example, bat angle. Someone like Hashim Amla with his big twirly bat that he has at the top there, a little bit like the Jim Furyk golf swing, he will have a big bat angle. Someone like MS Dhoni when he goes to play the helicopter shot, he is going to have a big bat angle. Maybe someone slightly lower to the ground. Who am I thinking? Some of the England batsmen maybe start a little bit lower. Jason Roy, people like that, have a lower back angle. The other thing it picks up is bat speed. The amount of times we have done masterclasses talking to Virat Kohli or A.B. de Villiers about bat speed. What does that actually mean? It's all well and good saying, well, you've got fast hands, but how do you measure that bat speed? So someone like me, a boring batsman, used to have very low bat speed. That's why the ball didn't go anywhere. But some of these guys, if you think Kohli when he plays the seamer, actually plays with firm wrists and doesn't create much bat speed. But when Kohli plays against the spinners, Kohli really generates a lot of wrist and bat speed through the ball. So what we've been able to do is actually quantify that. So maybe with Kohli against the seamers, his bat speed is good. Kohli against the spinners, his bat speed is absolutely phenomenal. But it's not just bat speed. You could have the most brilliant bat speed, but if it doesn't get there in the right time, then the ball doesn't go very well. So you also need the timing of the bat speed, and this sensor picks up exactly when the timing is, and hence how far the ball will go, how much impact it has on that cricket ball. So from this little bit of technology in the bat, we are picking up a whole different bits of information about how good batsmen are and how well they hit a cricket ball.
Hi, I've been using this bat sense for more than a year now, and it is truly revolutionizing. The data empowers you, and it is the future of the cricket. The bat sense helps you gain focus training.
Vary hugely across what sort of session you're trying to do, really. So if you're doing a one-to-one, for example, one of the best bits of the app is the video capture. So it's linked to the fact that the sensor moves and it will capture only that bit of footage, whereas normally when we're capturing footage, we're capturing a whole session and you have to scroll through it. So what that does is enable the player to go back over their individual shots, have a look at the metrics that come off of the sensor, and also link it.
I think data is pretty important at various times. I think the timing of the data is very important, and the usefulness of the data. I think in terms of bat speed, bat angles, in developing shots, but also helping the cricketer on their pathway. I think this is a critical time for cricketers at 16, 17, 18 years of age, and going that next step. What tools we can use to help them is always useful.
This is Vera Krishnamurthy, player in Indian women's cricket team. Today I'm here to talk about bat sense. Being a cricketer, I'd love if I get real life data about my batting. So it actually tells me about my bat angle and the power I'm putting into a shot. So it helps me analyze and get back into my practice. So it has been a vital kit in my cricketing equipment. The game has been advanced so much, so it's time for us to get smart. I am smart. Are you?
At this point of time, while I am speaking, training is more a gut feel of a coach. Now we'll convert into real.
So, Atul bhai, it's up to you now. Just go through about few things. We just seen it.
Thanks, Ratanda. Just picking up from where what Lord Patel said, actually, he summed it up beautifully. Everything around us is going to become smart. So even your stadiums are going to become smart. When he said that, my mobile phone will have everything, it means that the whole stadium itself will become smart. Everything around you, if you actually look at it, is already smart. your car is smart, your phone is smart, your watch is smart, your air conditions are smart, your houses are smart, your doorbells are smart, your everything around you is actually already smart. There is no reason why everything related to sports will not become smart. Unfortunately, till now, in the sports of cricket, the entire technology has been in broadcast. So, whether it is Hawkeye or whether it is your snickometers or whether it is your heat maps, everything is for the broadcast. There is absolutely nothing for a normal player, somebody who's actually playing the game day in, day out. And therefore, the whole purpose of my purpose of bringing technology to cricket was to create a affordable ecosystem so that everybody who cannot afford, who cannot be under a broadcast, cameras, 14 cameras, 16 cameras, 30 cameras kind of a setup, still should be able to see their own performance, their own data. And like Kalyan put it rightly, data actually gives you a story. Your own data, if you know, you can actually improve your own self. The gut feel of the coach will no longer be there. So like what you were doing with the speed gun, this even the speed gun would be giving you a limited accuracy, right? Still you must be having some tolerance, some, you will, but still that would have given you some number, right? Now if you are getting, suppose you are getting bowled lot of times, that means your bat speed is slow. What is the number? There was never a number till the time we actually introduced a bat sensor. And therefore very quickly we are looking at making the helmet smart, making the stump smart, making the shoe smart, making the ball smart. So what happens is that whatever, and everything will be sunk in a single app. So you will know your reactions. Like for example, as a coach, you will always tell a player, your head should be still when you play a shot. Now, if you have a sensor on the helmet and you have a sensor on the bat, sunk in time, it will tell you in nanoseconds whether your head was actually still or not. Therefore, you every time you do, every iteration, you can keep checking. The good thing about is, and what KK picked up very clearly was, if you put a number to, as they say, whatever gets measured gets done. If you are able to know that I am at 60 and I have to go to 80, you can work hard and be there. But if you don't know, if a coach says speed is less, improve, but what is the number? You don't know whether you are actually decreasing or you are actually increasing. So having said that, the adoption of everything we are talking about here will take some time. But as KK put rightly, something like COVID actually accelerates this whole process. It actually forces everybody to look at what can I actually do to become smarter, to live here in this planet. Suddenly, like he said, NHS suddenly is into technology. Whether it is your teacher, whether it is your doctor, whether it is your sports coach, whether it is your yoga teacher, everybody is online, everybody is now using technology. And with in technology, the most important thing is that how do we move from one step to the other. And I am sure what COVID has done is it will start, more and more number of people will start using it, more and more usage of technology will start, which will start giving us data, which KK spoke about. If
Yeah,
I
there are.
have data, if I have data for a 14-year-old who's playing in England, and I can compare that data with a 14-year-old who's playing in Australia, or who's playing in India. Can you do that today? No, you can't. But if all of these guys are using sensors, we can actually throw this data back to them.
And this is old saying, correct? And this is very in Lord we trust, but for everything else I need data. Correct? So the fact around this is that today the coach uses a very manual coaching manual. There is a style of a coach, correct? But whereas when you start to look at data, you can realize that, yeah, there's a very interesting masterclass in Sky where they analyzed Steve Smith, correct? And they said, yeah, his bat comes from here, he fiddles all over. But when you look at the fundamentals, correct, and you look at that from a data perspective, they were able to slice the video into every frame. His head is still, his hand is still, he's like on top of the ball, he's meddling the ball in the bat, look at his bat speed. So then what you're starting to realize is today you have a very prescriptive way of coaching, correct? You just say, these are the 5-6 different ways to play a cover drive. And Atul and me were looking at some data points with machine learning. We were able to find that there are 100, 120 different patterns of cover drives, right? And it's not that, yeah, some of them look elegant. So there is an art and a science, correct? So art we can leave to the sports lovers to figure out whose cover drive looks the best, correct? And that's where the subjectivity comes in. But I think the data will help really bring the objectivity into the whole this thing. And I agree. I think of what can ESPN Cricinfo become if I can federate sensor data into player stats data and be able to give you such interesting insights. And again, things like what comparing what's the weather outside, what's the condition, how is the player responding, are they playing late, are they playing early? You can collect a lot of these things, and then you really help to improve the game, correct? The whole aspect is the data keeps to improve the game, and then we can create more, I would say, like those online gaming, saying that you could look at some of this statistics or IoT data and start to create virtual games, correct, of how my player will perform. We use predictive analytics to start to say, based on a pattern, will this, guys, it's going to be very interesting, actually. If you see, the possibilities are immense.
So I'm just going to share a screen. Let me see if I can share it here. All right, I will come back to the screen sharing. I'll show some of the statistics about the number of players playing across the world with in different level, and we will pick up some. So one of the things that as a coach I can see that only I think 0.01% people who are playing decent level cricket from Premier League up to, if you think about professional, international, have got access to the technology. I think the bat sense is one of the things that that you don't need anything, because we talked about the pitch vision, we talked about the silicon coach, the coaches use all those techs, but everything you require somebody to set it up for you, and everything somebody need to do some analyzing, editing, then the results giving to you. But this is something very brilliant. So that I'm just, again, let me see. All right, probably you can see this screen here. This data showing here how many people are involved in different level of the game. And as you can see, that elite level, only 1,000 people are playing elite level, and professional you can see 50,000, and 10 million is between 10 to 25 years. They play corporate and recreational cricket. So this is where it is a huge, and that if we talk about the 50,000 professional, out of 50,000, I don't think 5,000 have got that that accessibility of some sort of technology. So I think going forward with all the social distancing in place, all those things that we are talking about, how can technology, the people like Kalyan, people like Atul, Smart Cricket, or some other companies can go up to that mass. I'm not talking about the market, because this is a need now. If I don't do, somebody else will do. So how can we I'm not talking about the capturing market. How can we make sure that we reach up to those people easily with the affordable way? Lord Patel, if you can just talk through about your take on these numbers, the big number.
Yeah, these are enormous numbers, and you're absolutely right, because if you want to improve everything from performance, health and well-being, to audience participation, to a great experience, we need to use technology. And I think everybody watching now, even if there's a local cricket team, if all the cricket team get a smart cricket device, can monitor within the team. If the whole league gets a smart cricket device, you can monitor the whole league. If we can do it on a region or a county, so one of the, Yorkshire pick this up, so everybody in Yorkshire does it, then you begin to get that data. It just becomes more exciting, more interesting, even if you're not a great player. If we can then get the performance into your well-being, measuring your pulse, your heartbeat, your diabetes, all sorts of things, then it becomes even more interesting. So we're looking after our health, we're looking after our well-being, we're enjoying the game, we're understanding the game. But this needs more than just a sport to do this. We need to be out there. Organizations like HCL, Nike, others, big organizations saying it's wearable technology. Atul has said it's there already, and now it's taking it to the next level. But this is, the bigger the scale, the cheaper it becomes, and once we get that data, we can do phenomenal things with it. It's
just to tell you, just to add, Ratanda, when I last met Lord Patel, he I don't know whether he remembers it or not, but he very clearly said that, Atul, can you make this free for everyone and put everything on subscription every month? What that will do is that it will change the way. So what we are trying to do, Lord Patel, is that we are looking at the first year of subscription when you buy, and then after that everything is on subscription. So we took that feedback, and just to ensure that every single person who plays the game of cricket should be able to use the device, and should be able to, and like what Lord Patel just said, if you have more data, if you have the whole league's data, imagine what all you can give it back to the player. You can compare different players. You can actually tell them you are good here, you are bad here. This guy is good, this guy is better. Learn from here, reach there. Sorry.
And half the battle is won.
Yes.
Why is 50% of the battle won? Because everybody's got one of these. Like you said, Ratan, who's going to analyze it? This analyzes it. Who's going to collect it? This is going to collect it. So 50% of the battle is won. All we're doing is bringing a free piece of equipment, and then you start to use this. What can Google do with that? What can HCL do with that? What can Facebook do with the data? It helps. So I think we're on to something very, very exciting.
I'm fully with you, and I think the key here is, can we? So if you really look at the whole digital revolution, I really put that into 3 quadrants, correct? There is digital for the user, which is where we've all seen now, correct? With the mobile, the power of the internet, and the first wave of internet was all about connecting information, but you had the user-centric. The second is where Atul's lot of the pushes around is the asset-centric, correct? How you make an asset smart connected. The bat becomes smart, the helmet becomes smart, the shoe becomes smart. So you're connecting the asset value chain. And the third pillar, which is where I think, Lord Patel, your idea was that, hey, could you convert this into as a service, correct? Rather than this thing, make it consumption based, so the service value chain only comes in when the data starts to get monetized, or the data starts to get this thing. And I think this is where the power of this whole engagement is. I think cricket needs to still evolve a lot, especially in the I hope with the COVID situation, and with, I don't know when people are going to go back to watching games in the stadium, maybe you will. So I had this interesting idea I was sharing with someone in the MCG. I was telling them that, hey, you create socially distancing physical seats in the stadium, but sell all the middle seats as virtual Oculus VR seats, correct? Or sell them at this thing. So you still have 2 meter distance, and then you sell virtual seats. You preferably monetize the game, correct? Instead of people physically walking into, and that's where this broadcasters, everyone has to come in, and then the whole ecosystem, and then you populate that with smart data, correct? And then you get more insights. It's not just I'm watching. Think the moment I'm watching the game on a VR, correct? I could overlay data. See, the beauty of data is you can create glass tables, correct? I can have one over another, and I could pretty much visualize the game with more insights. And I think that's where the world should move. I think this is a game which should. I think this game is played by far few lesser people. I think as a spirit of this game is unique, right? I think billions of people should play this game, and I think we have to find a way to promote it more, right?
I think one of the things that I just wanted to talk through here about few of the future things that smart cricket is thinking about. Of course, we talked about the pad sensor. We are talking about the glove sensor. We are talking about the shoe sensor, and it's not only for cricket. You know that we can put into different sports. And one of the things that I just wanted to ask Atul bhai regarding your plan to the stamp sensor, where you can really have some sort of impact among the you can connect to the broadcast, and then it can go to the grassroots level. Like I have a phone, either I'll be able to access some sort of bat movement while it's in the somebody's playing.
So, just to remind Lord Patel that, I mean, I'm again going back to the meeting which I had with him, because there were a lot of takeaways from there. Just to tell you, sir, that on your advice, the whole organization has now moved to the UK. So, Smart Cricket Global Limited is now a British company. The data is owned by that company. The technology is owned by that company. R&D is owned by that company. Everything is now British. We moved everything for the ease of business and for ease of overall exposure, which the company can get based in the UK, based on the inputs which I got from you and also KK. Coming to the stumps. So what we are trying to do, sir, is that the center stump in any cricket match you would have seen has a camera, and that stump also has the circuitry for your sneakometers and your mics. What we are trying to do is the other two stumps. Out of the other two stumps, one of the stumps we are converting that stump into an antenna, which means that, and there are stumps on both the sides. So there is one antenna here, there is one antenna here, and we will. So there is a sensor in the shoe, on the helmet, in the gloves, in the ball. These two antennas will actually take the entire data, and this will ensure that even when there is broadcast interferences, there are a lot of signal interferences when broadcast starts. But if we are trying to make those antennas powerful enough so that they can keep capturing the entire movement, whatever is happening on the bat, on the helmet, on the shoe, on the ball, and this can be relayed directly to the broadcast. And this also includes the pulse rate of the player from here, the sweat analysis from the helmet, which means that at any point of time, the physio who's outside can actually know whether the salt is less in your body or sugar is less in your body. When he or she comes to the ground during drinks, you exactly get what you want, what your body needs. So we are trying to completely change this the way cricket has been played so far, because it is more gut feel, but now it will all be numbers, and it will help eventually everybody, including injury management. Like you rightly said, when you're running more on your left leg or your right leg. With all this data coming, we can actually, as KK said, we can predict you are going to get injured now, because my past data has actually showed me that with this kind of running for this number of months the person gets injured, there is 90% possibility that you will get injured. So therefore you have to change the way you've been running. So all these things will start to come up, and I personally feel, and I'm really grateful that people like you, Lord Patel, in the governing bodies, and there are few more who actually sit in ICC, in BCCI, and in other boards. They are now looking at a position where cricket, from being a traditional sport, has to actually become a smart sport, and eventually every sport will become smart. But because cricket has, as KK said, has a lot of statistics, has a lot of data, cricket can actually take the lead.
I think Lord Patel is the one of the best person to talk through about the science you are talking about, the sweat, the data, send it back to the physio or trainer, and one of the things that very important for the fast bowlers particularly, they got injured very very young age because there is no data about how they are running, that where they are putting the pressure on. If a easy shoe sensor can help that, that can save a lot of young people to get injured very early age, and some of them could have make it to international level. So Lord Patel, you can tell that if this can happen, it will help not only cricket, in many other sports.
Yeah, it's going to help in every sport, because the physiology of a human being, we all do different things in different ways, and actually bowling is a very unnatural thing for the human body to do. To contort all your body and to actually do that is a strange thing to do. So we need to know where all the stress fractures are, what's going to happen. How many talented cricketers have left the game because of injuries. If we can prevent injury and keep people healthy and fit, right from childhood, so right through to professional standards, it's got to be an absolute gold mine. For tennis, for golf, even Tiger Woods had back problems. We'd spot these things early on and prevent them. It's crucially important.
Yeah, I think again,
but we need
the things that we are talking about, that this sensor can be used in all sort of sports, in boxing, in any sort of racket sports. It is so important that that we combinely try and do something for the sports, and particularly for cricket. KK, if I can ask you, what are the other things that the other sports, for example, football? I know that they are using the sound at the ground, that when they give the goal, that the loudspeaker shouts, that it seems like somebody is watching the game and shouting, that and cheering. Any other things is being developed in other sports, and people are talking from your industry that they need to do something at the football? It could be any sports.
I think there's a lot of, I think if you really look at, there is a lot of, as Lord Patel talked about this, variables, correct? See, I think that the key here is it depends upon the purpose you want to embed a tech, correct? Everything you should start with the question of what is viable, desirable, feasible, and measurable, correct? The four things. And why are you doing this? And I think there are three reasons, correct? Either I want to improve the way I do play sport. Second is help me prevent injuries or issues. Or the third thing which is happening is use this for recreational and other scenarios, correct? And if gamification and a lot of other pieces. So I think if you really see a lot of the other techs, what they're doing, like golf has done a lot of these things by embedding GPS and other capabilities into the ball, correct? And you could do more tracking and other stuff. Football is doing a few things. Baseball actually has this thing. American football, effectively, it's if you see that game, you see rugby is still raw, passionate people play. American football is completely controlled by the coach or the manager, correct? Exactly, they print a game sheet, they analyze the whole data, they know player positions, where they are moving. I think sometimes over intrusion into the game also is not good. I think it's about creating that fine balance, correct, between what is needed to make improve the game rather than becoming over intrusive. And there are I always say, correct, the data is such a unique thing. You can create a lot of value, but you can also create a lot of risks, correct? Now you've got to solve. I think Lord Patel could understand is you used to have anti-corruption and managing bookies. Now you think damn thing now going on data, and now people using bots to predict and start predicting players and things. It can become a little. So hence data governance. It's with the very clear aspects between how do you govern, manage data, privacy, things like that. Data bias, correct? Bias in the data. So things like that has to be taken into account. But I think a lot of sports are looking at adopting tech. In my view, I think I have a slight difference with Atul. I think the broadcast tech is I think they're still using generation 1 to generation 2, correct? They have a lot to go, correct? The broadcast tech. They're all focused around the camera experience, but it's about, they need to do a lot of work. I think what we're doing with BatSense and other stuff, we're far ahead. I think they have to find a way to get the same stadium experience back into the homes or any other location. That's going to be if there is one big thing which broadcasters have to do now, is to really figure that solution out. Because how do you keep, I think I was watching today the test match for some time, and there was this microphone, the loudspeaker noise. It becomes so repetitive, correct? It's not how the crowd is. But maybe we have to find a way to bring wearables and other thing back. There's a lot of innovation happening in COVID around wearables, social distancing wearables, things like that, queue management things. I think the county boards and all the cricket boards have to find a way to get people back to watching the game in a more responsible, but in a more way. But I think we have to find, and then build social distancing. You still have the stadium capacity. Find a way of mixing virtual and real presence into both.
Yeah. If I may ask Atul Bhai about in this section, that how far you are to come up with the stump, the smart stump solution, and how quickly it can be implemented.
So Ratandra, that is ready. It has to. So we were supposed to actually put everything on live during the T20 World Cup in Australia. So as of now, it is ready to be showcased in Australia if the tournament happens. We've not heard about the tournament, but if it doesn't happen, the tournament doesn't happen, then the next tournament in India, it will be live. You will be able to see it live in action.
All right, so that it's gone much faster then. I think there are a lot to discuss about this. So, Lord Patel, is there any way that the governing bodies can take any other initiative that bring those grassroots with the technology, and that they can make a bridge between the tech companies and either a pilot with a county, for example, if not the main governing body, or something in pilot, so to work out something, because this is something that new that everybody is experiencing. Nobody thought there will be social distancing. Nobody thought there will be this sort of procedure in place. Is there something that either any governing body can think of?
I think that's why when I was talking to Atul, if we could get a large enough scale to provide this free, the chip, and show the benefits of it, then it will happen. It'll happen organically. You know, it's just like when we went back to the beginning with the NHS. Everybody said everybody wants to see a GP. Nobody will do this. Nobody will do online booking. But when you had to do it, it happened, and it happened automatically. So I think somewhere we have to have a spark. Obviously, finances are really struggling because of COVID, because of broadcast rights. But we've all been now creative and innovative. It's getting maybe one large county or even a series of schools to get into this, or leagues. And I think It's that early start off. It's that early investment where somebody says, okay, this is the future. Let's invest in this. It will happen because the technology is clearly there. It just needs that one spark. But what Kalyan said is really important. And I didn't talk about it because I thought people might find it boring. But if we don't get the governance right, it'll all go wrong. Because cybersecurity, governance, data breaches, privacy, this is absolutely crucial. So that's why it's important that, if set up in the UK, it has good governance structures, we get all the security issues in place. So people are confident about the data, about the use of data, about GDPR, and we do this. So I think there's a combination of security, safety, large-scale implementation, but some investment from somebody who sees this is the future, because it is the future. There's no going back.
Yeah. Atul bhai, you just to talk through about some final thoughts about. Of course, that I know that Smart Cricket is wanted to bring this accessible to grassroots, and we are trying to do various other things to improve the technology at the same time to make it accessible. How far we are on that line, and how can Smart Cricket come up with a plan and offer, let's say for a county, all right, this is what, or maybe a bunch of school, 10 schools. So this is the pilot. And of course, I think Kalyan can help here because you do a lot of startups. The startup business require funding. And rightly, Lord Patel said, it requires somebody to come up, or all right, this is what it is. Let's go and do this and see where we go.
So Ratanda, 5 years back, when I started this to develop something like this, there were more people discouraging than encouraging. But I said, if I don't do it, I don't think anybody will be able to do it. To start off and to bring it till here, it has taken 5 years. And in these 5 years, there have been a lot of learnings. What we have done now is, as Lord Patel said and KK said very clearly, it has to reach the masses. And therefore, what we have done is, if the UK company, at this point of time, while we are talking, even the UK company is on crowdcube.com. You can actually go to crowdcube.com and actually invest in this company. Whether it is 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 100 pounds, or 100,000 pounds, you can actually invest in this company and be a shareholder. So for any cricket lover, you can actually be a part of the company. And this is something which is a big thing which we've opened up. That is one. This we have done for a month. The second thing is that I am myself moving to the UK for good. So I will be based in the UK, and we will be doing our entire R&D and entire structuring based in the UK. We will, as you said, we will look at, with the help of Lord Patel, we will very clearly look at which place to focus and first let everybody use it, and that becomes a showcase for the entire world, that this is where the whole county has used it, or the whole setup has used it, and this is what is the benefit. Now the whole world can look at it. See, you have been playing without this for 100 plus years, right? So it is not that people will immediately start. I remember when the mobiles became smart, my father used to say, phones are just for making phone calls. What are you guys doing with this phone? And today he is on himself on Facebook. So things change. So like a lot of people during the World Cup, when I was doing the demos myself, when somebody started to use it, I used to love the way their face used to change. And the way they used to end up and say, wow, how clever. And they would have never imagined that something like this exists or is possible. And there are a lot of people. I remember there was a guy who came in every single match till the semi-finals and tested every time. Every time I only gave him the bat to test. He tried anything possible. Reverse sweep, uppercut, paddle sweep, whatever you can think of. And after that, after me telling him for 6-7 games, he tells me, can you give me a discount? So I actually gave the puck free to him, and I told him, you made me proud of my own product, because I have myself never tested my product the way you tested it. So there are a lot of interest, there are a lot of people who will change. There is, and as KK and Lord Patel also said, that COVID has accelerated this. We have to hang on. We have to ensure that we are continuously able to adapt to the changes which are happening, bring in more and more products, and as Lord Patel said, make it so accessible that everybody should be able to use it. Because data, as KK said, is power. The moment you start to see your own data, you will start, like for example, your phones today, when you can actually see your step counter, right? Before that, when you used to go for walking, it meant nothing. Now, have I reached 10,000 steps? Have I not reached? Where am I? Like, I mean, I have lost a lot of weight in the last 6 months. I can exactly tell you how many million steps I have actually taken in the last 6 months, from 24th of January till date, to lose 23.5 kgs exact.
Well done.
So yeah, thank you, Atul bhai. I think you gave a lot of insight. I think we hope that it will kick off and it will be accessible. Lord Patel, just to summarize what Atul bhai said and what KK said, and what is the prospect, not only with the smart cricket bat sense and the few other things that we talked about, technology in sports in particular, and we know where we stand and where we wanted to go, and there need to be a lot of infrastructures need to be put in place, and in the governing body, with the government as well, or
Yeah, I think the governing bodies, I think all the sports governing bodies are heading in this direction, because of what KK said earlier. Broadcast is going to change. So, digital information technology is going to be key to it. So I think they're moving. Government will follow, and I think we need to have examples, but we need other benefits. So I go back to the idea, of course we want to improve, we want to prevent injury, we want to enjoy life, but let's look at health and well-being, because if we're getting diabetes, we're getting overweight, we're not losing, like Atul has done all this. How can we have several benefits from one chip? The one chip can give us lots of different benefits, and I think that'll make a big difference, because then health is involved, sports is involved, lifestyle is involved, businesses are interested because they're getting data from all these things. I think we need a combination of these things, which is all possible, absolutely possible, and it's an exciting phase. But as Kalyan said, we don't want to lose the spirit of cricket, because we love cricket, we love the uncertainty, we love, not to analyze too much, but we do want to improve, and technology will help us improve.
Yeah, thank you, Lord Patel, thank you. KK, you wanted to summarize the discussions today that we have, and the Lord Patel said one thing, that if that chip can be incorporated with some of the health things like steps, that measuring various things, is there any possibility to do that? Can we do that?
No, I would say, yeah, that this lot of possibility exists. The question is that, why do you want to get into an overcrowded market? There's already stuff that is already getting commoditized. I think the value is not on the chip or the sensor. The value is how are you, it's not about data, it's about insights, correct? But what do you do with the data, correct? There's a lot of data, correct? There's too much data in the world, correct? We generate more data every day than what we generated in the last 90 years. So I think the trick is about how do you make insights, but also how do you do good with the data? And I think that the question is that how do you make the data really useful to help people improve, but also avoid injuries? And that's the way I really look at this whole thing evolving. But I think that the most important thing for the game overall is to get back to playing, because finally it's all about playing. Right? When you start playing, all the data gets generated, or all the usage of this thing happens. So I think the crux is going to be, how do you, I think there's this whole stuff. Initially, the world was moving towards work remote or move everything off, correct? Now it's all back to work or back to play, correct? So now the question is, how do we make sure back to play is being made safer, better, and more enjoyable. That's the way I think we really should look at this whole thing.
Thank you, Karan. Thank you for your time. Atul Bhai, if you can say your final few words, and thanks for coming.
Thank you so much. I just want to thank both KK and Lord Patel for the insights they have given us. They have been uh, part of cricket, and the way they have actually shown us the direction. I think we are going to go a long way from here. I look forward to come to the UK and start operating from there and start working with all of you to change the game of cricket forever.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time, Lord Patel. Your final words for today. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, thank you. No, it's been it's my honour and privilege to be here and share a platform with these two gentlemen who know far more about technology and sport than I do. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you everyone. And we're just updating the England score. Is again the range stop play is still 35-1, so not much change. So that thanks for watching everyone, and we will be looking forward to seeing you soon again, sometimes soon. Thank you very much.